Downtown Fargo, where culture, creativity, and community collide. You've heard the headlines. Now hear what's really happening. Bringing the best of Broadway direct to you. The stories, the people, and the places that make downtown the heartbeat of our city. This is Rocky's Downtown Hour with Lauryn Schneider.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for having me, WDAY. This is the inaugural show of Rocky's Downtown Radio Hour. It's where we follow the pulse of downtown Fargo every Friday. So I hope you can join with me as we dig into the issues downtown, highlight our local small businesses, and also take a look at what events are going on every weekend and what's happening downtown. But first off, I'm Lauryn Schneider. I'm the Executive Director of the Downtown Community Partnership. We also call ourselves the DCP, but I'll try to spell that out as much as I can. But I'm a local resident, lifelong resident of downtown Fargo or just off downtown Fargo. I moved away when downtown was not happening. Came back. Now I raise a family just off the north side of downtown and couldn't be happier to be here to talk about, your downtown. It's interesting because I like to think downtown is everybody's neighborhood. We're also proud of our local neighborhood within a couple blocks of us. Downtown's unique that way where we all can claim ownership to it. We've all have memories there. We all can make memories there as kids, as adults, everywhere in between. And so we're looking forward to bringing some of those events and ideas and things you can do on the weekend right to your ears, but also we're not afraid to tackle some of the challenges we have downtown. So we have a number of guests coming with us every week, and today we have 3 guests. We have Lauryn from PRIMP Boutique, who's going to be in. They have a beautiful shop on Broadway. They're going to be talking about a event we're going on right now in downtown with 24 different businesses called the Scavenger Hunt Bingo. I think it's the Spring Scavenger Hunt Bingo. You can win daily prizes and a grand prize of $250. So shop small and win big. We also are going to have Liz from Emerging Prairie, who's in charge of TEDxFargo. TEDxFargo is coming up in July, and so we get to hear about their 2 days of great speakers they have and why they hold that downtown. And then lastly, closing out the show today, we're going to have the Deputy Mayor and Fargo City Commissioner Denise Kolpack that'll be in. I know she can talk about just about anything, but she's going to be here today, and we're happy to take some calls as well while she's here. But we're going to talk about what's going on at the legislature, what's going on downtown, maybe talk about homelessness and the efforts there to work together to address that problem. But a little more about the Downtown Community Partnership and what I do. We are known for a lot of different things, but we're probably best known as the group that puts on the street fair, the Downtown Fargo Street Fair coming up in mid-July. This is sort of a rite of summer I know I grew up going to it, and most people have memories of it. We get about 100,000 attendees over a 3-day period, and so it is a massive show, and we have over 200 vendors, people coming from all over the region, all over the nation to both attend and participate as a vendor. We also have a number of live shows that go on that. We are in charge of Broadway Square during the summer at the DCP. So we are going to talk about what's going on there on this radio show. We have a number of free concerts coming up this summer, and we'll announce a big concert coming up on June 4th later in the show. And so I'm looking forward to that. Also, the DCP, we put on the parades downtown or coordinate the parades. We put on the St. Patrick's Day Parade and the Excel Energy Holiday Lights Parade. And then we just work with the city. We're good partners with the city. We administer the Business Improvement District. We have 8 guys and gals down there that help clean up downtown, empty the garbages, keep things looking fresh downtown. And so I think they do a tremendous job. And so if you see the people in the blue uniforms downtown, please thank them. And so we just work on everything top to bottom. But I'm really excited for the show, but I'm more excited that I get to do this every week. And so I look forward to bringing you everything that's happening in downtown and get to tell you some of my personal perspective on it as a local downtowner, but also bring in guests and hear calls and don't mind addressing whatever topics might come up. And so what we're coming up first is this with our first guest is going to be Lauryn Schneider. She's the manager of PRIMP Boutique. And if you haven't been shopping downtown in a while, I'd encourage you to go down there. I know I think the lead-in talked about, you've heard the headlines. We get headlines downtown. There's a lot of people going on that live downtown, a lot of people that work downtown, a lot of nightlife downtown. But a couple stats maybe for you. We get something like 4 million visitors from like 600,000 different people every year. You just don't see that anywhere else in the state or the region. We're really the only metro area, until you get to Minneapolis and you go all the way west to Billings or south to Sioux Falls. So we're unique in this area. There's a lot going on downtown. We have the same number of residents downtown that roughly the city of Horace does. City of Horace is probably going to fly by that, but we continue to grow as well. So when you think about, we have an entire city encompassed within this small area, there's just a lot more going on, both good and bad some days. Headlines, people love to talk about downtown, but if you come down there any day, I guarantee you're going to have a good time, and you're going to get into a lot of shops, maybe explore a few new shops. And I think that's what I just encourage everybody. Sometimes it's easy to poke fun at the news, those sort of things. But when you look at the shops downtown, my favorite thing is that it's full of small businesses. These are your neighbors that have shops, and they love it when they come in, they interact with you. They know the neighborhood, they know the community. They probably live in your neighborhood that you consider your own. So I just encourage everybody to come downtown. We don't have a lot of chain stores or chain restaurants. They're all people's dreams that somebody put out their shingle, and I think we have some of the best restaurants anywhere in the country. I think our retailers are diverse, men, women, young, old. But most exciting, I think, is Broadway Square. It's now, I think, in its 5th year of existence, and the DCP was new last year as the summer administrator, and so we're going to be the summer administrator this year. We are working on a partnership with the Jasper Hotel to host free concerts there this summer. So we're looking at doing a big concert the first Wednesday in June, July, August, and September. And so we're just launching this, but our first concert will be June 4th, and we're going to have Mason Jennings. If you're a fan of Mason Jennings, it'll be a free concert in downtown Fargo, and we look forward to packing that square and packing the roads around it and activating all of downtown as part of that. And so we'll have more information about that on our website. If you want to follow along with us, not just during this hour, but anytime, we have our social media channels and our website, www.downtownfargo.com, and we're Downtown Fargo on all the social media channels as well. We Instagram and Facebook or TikTok for all ages. We actually just had a TikTok go viral, and I'd love to maybe bring in that store owner sometime too, because I don't know what it takes to have a social media post go viral, but we have like over 500,000 views on this video about the famous Dubai chocolate. And I have no idea what that is exactly, but it looks delicious, and so I should bring some in here sometime. I think they're like $20 chocolate bars, but man, was that a popular one, and I'm trying to figure out how we can repeat that, because anytime you can get that sort of views for our community, that brings a lot of attention, positive attention to our community that I know the retailers love, businesses love. So the more people we can attract to our area to spend money and tour our town, the better off we're going to be. But I'm just really excited because when I started reaching out to guests about this radio show, there is just so many people that have so many different events and things going on. We have an event calendar on downtownfargo.com that is just packed every weekend. There's free events, there's paid events, big acts, small acts. If you like comedy, if you like the theater, we just have a lot going on, and I don't think those things get called out enough. We tend to call out what happens after 2 a.m. at the bar scene more than we call out the fact that, you know, we have the Fargo-Moorhead Community Theater opening up later this summer in a brand new theater, along with, you know, 600 spot parking ramp next to it. Those things should never be a problem anymore. You know, we have Bell Bank making a $100 million investment this last year into downtown Fargo. I think there's just so many exciting things that we do end up talking about the natural life cycles of business as they close. And hopefully this is a program where we can really look at the positive side of the new businesses coming in, the events going on, and also tackle those challenges. And so I'm looking forward to this. We have some great visitors coming up today on the show. And I'm also happy to take some phone calls at any time too. Our number is 293-9000. And so if you're looking to call in, it's in my head, it's very similar to the old Pizza Patrol number that is baked in our memories for my generation anyways, but I'll try not to say it wrong. 293-9000. So happy to take callers in as well. Otherwise, I want to let you know that we're going to be here every week at 11 o'clock, except for next week. We'll take a break for Good Friday, but then we'll be back on April 25th, and we'll talk about downtown, because downtown is not just a place, it's a pulse. And every Friday, we're going to follow it here at WDAY. I'm also going to try to post this on Downtown Community Partnerships Facebook page so you can stream it later. If there's something that was interesting to you, feel free to write to us on that, and happy to take some ideas for future shows. Or if you don't like me or critique me, I'm happy to take that too, because we can all learn. These are all learning processes. This is the inaugural show of Rocky's Downtown Hour, and looking forward to bringing it right to you, but also making this a discussion. So it's not just me talking. Happy to get that feedback about what your memories are of downtown. What's changed over the years? What are you looking forward to? And what do you hope comes to downtown in the future? Welcome back. This is Rocky Schneider with Rocky's Downtown Hour. I'm joined today with my first ever guest on Rocky's Downtown Hour, Lauryn Schneider. No relation, just a shared passion for downtown, but she is with PRIMP Boutique. Lauryn, why don't you tell us, what is PRIMP Boutique?
So PRIMP Boutique is a women's clothing boutique in downtown Fargo. We are based in the Twin Cities, but we just opened our Fargo location about a year ago. And it's a very small business-oriented women's clothing boutique. So there are 6 locations total, 4 in the Twin Cities and 1 in downtown Sioux Falls, but they're all in very small business-oriented local communities that all kind of feel and look like downtown Fargo, but on different levels. And every store is pretty unique, very boutique-like. We're also female founded and operated, so everyone on our team really truly cares about what women want in both product and shopping experience. And that means that our clothing is very highly curated by our owner and buyer and leans very elevated casual. So we have trend forward pieces, but nothing too trendy. It's all very day-to-day wearable with some dressier event items mixed in as well. And as far as shopping experience goes, we're also very hands-on with customers. So anyone can walk in and feel really supported and comfortable. And the goal is like you can shop with your best friend.
Yeah, and that's what I love about PRIMP. I've been, obviously, I don't shop there personally, but I've been in there a number of times, and it's a great vibe. It's very welcoming to come into, and you always seem to have something going on. Right now, you're part of a downtown effort for the spring scavenger hunt. Could you tell us a little more about that event going on?
Yeah, it has been so great getting PRIMP involved in downtown Fargo this past year that we've been open. And really our goal is to just get people downtown, get to know us and get to know what we have to offer. And we want to get to know the rest of the community as well. So the scavenger hunt is a really great way for people to explore downtown. It's classic bingo. So there are physical bingo boards that participants can pick up. There's a few pickup locations to grab a board. You can get it from Silver Lining Creamery, Sandy's Donuts, Ferguson Books, and the Jasper Hotel, all of which happen to be within a block of PRIMP.
Perfect.
And then as you're playing bingo, you can visit each business within each square and find a scavenger hunt item within the store or business, and then get your square checked off by an employee.
So what's it get you if you get a bingo? Do you get to yell in the store, bingo?
I mean, you definitely can do that if you'd like. I mean, the employee would probably be pretty excited. I would be pretty excited for you. But by taking a picture and sending in your board to the email on the board, you're entered to win daily prizes. So there are gift cards to participating businesses, plus Downtown Fargo gift cards, which can actually be used at over 60 locations within the downtown community.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a grand prize as well at the end of the event. So the event runs, started April 8th earlier this week, and it runs through the weekend. So you have plenty of time. You don't have to do the whole bingo in one day if you don't want. But the grand prize is $250 gift card. That's a pretty good giveaway.
Yeah, it's a huge giveaway. So anyone who plays throughout the week will be entered into that grand prize at the end, along with those daily prizes. So overall, there's over $500 in prizes, which is huge.
So shop small, win big. Where do they find more information about this?
Yeah, so you can learn more about the scavenger hunt bingo at downtownfargo.com. Which is the Downtown Community Partnerships website, or at Downtown Fargo on Instagram and Facebook. We'll also be posting a little bit about it on PRIMP's Instagram and Facebook. So we have a PRIMP Fargo location on Instagram at PRIMP Fargo, or our main business page for our whole company, which is at PRIMP Boutique. Pretty easy to find.
And I think one of the things I loved about this too is with the daily prizes. I know if you get your bingo done early before the weekend or on Friday, you have a better chance to win because you get entered into a pool that just grows and grows for that grand prize. So it's encouraging to get out there early and make sure you finish. I think if you get a blackout, you get 10 entries as well. So if you get to all 24 stores, which is a feat, but people definitely make that an effort, you get a better chance to win. But I'm really curious. So PRIMP, you've been almost 1 year in downtown Fargo, and you only have a couple cities that you've chosen, and you're not PRIMP isn't from here originally. why'd you choose Fargo and why'd you choose Downtown Fargo?
Yeah, so our owner, her name is Wesley. She's based in the Twin Cities, but her husband's family is from Bismarck. So whenever they would be going to visiting them, they would often meet up in Fargo or they'd pass through Fargo. So she's experienced with Fargo. She's been here before. And then she has had the Sioux Falls location for about 9 years now, I believe. And the similarities between downtown Fargo and downtown Sioux Falls, they look like very similar communities. And so I think she felt very connected to it right away and decided that it would be a great place. She just loved the community and loved the walkability of it. And I think that she really just wanted to get in on the action and get in on the growth. And so far, it's been really great. Like I said earlier, we have really loved being a part of the community so far.
So what's your favorite part about being part of the downtown community? Do you have a favorite event or tradition, or is it just the people? Or
there are so many things I love. But honestly, the DCP's big events are all of my favorite things. So the coffee and cocoa crawl that happens every February, I am a huge coffee person. So I love that event. That went spectacular this year.
Great, yeah.
PRIMP was also a part of that. And then the street fair is my other favorite. And those are both DCP events. And the street fair will be coming up this July.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm always curious what you're looking forward to in the future, because downtown has those great tradition events, but there's always something new, or there's a new event coming up, something you're doing, something somebody else is doing. What are you looking forward to this summer?
Yeah, I would say I would love to see some kind of downtown fashion show.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there's so many great boutiques in downtown, and like PRIMP. And now that we're a part of the community, it's like we should all just get together and do some kind of fun, big fashion show. There's a lot of fashion people in Fargo, believe it or not.
And I love that idea. And I think my staff back at the office is probably cringing, because I always bring in a new idea. Like we tried to do a lot as a small office, and I keep throwing more and more at them. So I'm going to come back and say, hey, how about a fashion show? I know nothing about how to do that, but I bet somebody does. And so I bet there'd be a lot of great partners and retailers downtown. And so how many businesses are part of the scavenger hunt, for instance? I think it must be a 5x5 square, so there's 24. And
yeah, something like that. 24, 25 businesses. Yeah, including the DCP.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of places that probably could all curate an event like that.
Oh yeah,
we could do that right at Broadway Square and have a good time.
Oh, there's so many businesses in downtown. You can so easily spend a whole day just exploring all up and down Broadway and going on the side streets, all kinds of great businesses.
So where can we find information again for those just popping in? The Spring Scavenger Hunt Bingo and win daily prizes. Where do we find that information?
Yep. So once again, make sure to check out about the Scavenger Hunt Bingo at downtownfargo.com or at Downtown Fargo on Instagram and Facebook. And you can also follow PRIMP Boutique at PRIMP Fargo and at PRIMP Boutique on Instagram and Facebook, or shop online at primp-boutique.com.
So PRIMP's right across the street from the Jasper Hotel. But what's the address of PRIMP?
The address of PRIMP is 218 Broadway. Pretty easy to remember, pretty simple. And yeah, we're the white face building right across the street from the Jasper Hotel. So super easy to find.
So have you had some people come in for bingo already?
We have, yeah. People have already been pretty excited.
How are you stamping them? Do you have anything unique that you're doing? You just have an old-fashioned dauber that just...
I have a fancy little initial that I put on, and then a little heart.
So no cheating. You got to copy.
No cheating. Yeah.
That's awesome. And what are the 4 locations to pick up the cards again?
So you can pick up your card at Ferguson Books and More, the Jasper Hotel, Sandy's Donuts, and Silver Lining Creamery, which again are all within a block of PRIMP.
And it's a great day for ice cream.
It is a great day.
Which is every
for ice
day,
cream.
But today especially. It's
with the sun out and
Broadway Square is hopping. The spinny chairs are out at Broadway Square.
It's always hopping at Broadway Square. I always see people over there. It's so much fun.
Well, Lauryn, thank you for having this amazing store in downtown Fargo, and thanks for being a part of our events and coming in today and telling us all about it. Hopefully some of your customers come in and win bingo and win big.
Thank you so much for having me, Rocky. It was great to be here.
We're going to be here every Friday at 11 o'clock celebrating the people, the places, and the pulse of downtown Fargo. With us right now is Liz Campbell. She's the Experience and Events Director. That's an amazing title. And you're with Emerging Prairie, and you guys put on TEDxFargo. So for those who have no idea, what is TEDxFargo?
TEDxFargo is one of the biggest events that we get to do in Fargo. Emerging Prairie puts it on every year. It is over the summertime. This year will be July 23rd and 24th. If anybody's ever watched a TED Talk, that's what we get to do in Fargo. It is an incredible event that we pull together anywhere from 35 to 40 speakers. This year, we're expanding it out to 2 days. Wow. We usually do it in 1 day, but this year we're like, you know what? The community wants more. Let's give them more.
So nice. Do it twice.
Yes, absolutely. So we're having 2 days, and each day we'll have different speakers sharing their big, bold ideas and ways that we can transform the world.
You know what I love about this is that we take so many things for granted in Fargo, where if you're from this area and you're just here, you don't realize like these things are things that other people look to us as, and they're like envious of Fargo about.
Yeah.
And TEDxFargo has become one of those, because they do TEDx other places as well. They're trying to get off the ground in places. Other places are very successful too, but Fargo's just kind of keeps growing and growing. And I think other communities are like, hey, what are you doing right? So maybe I ask, what is it about Fargo and your efforts here that have made this so successful?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have across the world, I think there's like 3,000 TEDx events that happen each year. And ours is one of the biggest and one of the ones that gets highlighted the most, because we're creative with what we do. We can get people together, have a speaker up on the stage and do the event. But what we do is we activate downtown. We activate the community. We start talking about it now. We have community amplification where ice cream shops downtown will have a TEDx flavor. We'll have coffee shops have some specials for TEDxFargo attendees. We tie in experiences. We have performers. We have parties. We have coffee meetups. We have our speakers that we bring in. They do bonus events throughout the week, whether it's small little roundtables to bigger events with the community, with attendees, with our sponsors. So it's more than just what happens on that stage, but it's kind of everything that happens that week that sets us apart. We have some unique experiences that our speakers get to have. We set up a backstage area for them that allows them to connect, which then brings them back every year.
Yeah, and I love that. Plus, I just got a new life goal. I want a ice cream flavor named after me. Like, I realize there's Rocky Road.
I was going to say there's Rocky Road.
I'm not a fan of that. So I mean, sure. I think I could go on a different way, but that's a goal.
What would you put in it?
I'm a big fan of pistachio ice cream.
Sure.
And so I could do something with that. There's that Dubai chocolate bar that I was talking about earlier that our TikTok went viral with. Maybe there's like Rocky's famous Dubai ice cream or something like that. I don't know.
We'll work on the name.
I'll ChatGPT that one and figure out a way better flavor than that. So, okay, moving on. Well, the other thing I like about TEDx is, it's not stale from year to year. You guys have a different theme. And so tell us what your theme is this year and why.
Yeah. So the theme this year is thread, because every thread tells a story. And it really is working on exploring the connections between people, ideas, and experiences. And those are the threads that shape our world. We're going to highlight the unseen patterns and the shared stories that really bind us together across disciplines, backgrounds, generations. And I think it all comes back to community, that each of us brings a story to what we do. And that thread is connected and woven through every experience that we have, whether it's at work, whether it's in our neighborhoods, whether it's in our friend groups, downtown, wherever that is. It's that continual thread that keeps us all bound together.
No, I love that. That's great. Thread. That's a good one. So how are you doing that for design? Because every once in a while I see something downtown and there's just thread everywhere, and it's purposeful. It's not just graffiti, like those, quilters just graffitiing everything or something like that.
I mean, if there are any quilters out there that want to graffiti anything, call me up. We would love to do something with you. But yeah, that's where we tie in that experience. And so when we think about visually, what is TEDxFargo going to look like? Is there going to be thread everywhere? Is it going to just kind of be mass chaos? Is it going to be spools of yarn? Is it going to be denim jackets? Is it going to be just kind of that tattered piece? Is it everybody contributes a piece of thread or a piece of fabric and we create a giant tapestry for the community? So I think that there's lots of ways that our experience is going to be able to highlight that, so that the theme isn't just a concept, but it's something visual that people can engage with.
No, I love that. Yeah, we're all connected for sure. And I think you have a lot of different speakers that speak to that message in a lot of different ways. How many speakers do you have?
Our goal is to have about 35 to 40, and I think we're sitting at 29 right now.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But if somebody wants to be a speaker, is that like an option? How do they submit like an idea?
Yeah, I think that there's a link on our website that you could go on and submit a request to be a TEDxFargo speaker.
So if you have a great idea out there that
Yeah.
you're that YouTube guy that just sits there all day and watches TEDx talks and you're like, I could do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it really is. That's what it comes down to is we want people who have the idea that can change the world. We've had just recently one of our talks from last year, Madi Schneider, her talk went viral and it had an incredible impact. And so then Big TED, picked it up and they said, we want to feature this. And so it was on Gen Z in the workplace and how they have the answer to the future. And super relevant, right? Super amazing ideas, the research to back it up, all of the components of a perfect TED Talk came together. And now she's featured on TED's website and on their podcast and all of those things. So it's just pretty cool.
That's so great too, because we all complain about younger generations. And now that I'm getting to older generation, I can see why they used to complain about us and just kind of just passes on. But the next generation is always the future. So we have to look to that and see what they bring and how we can highlight it. So let's highlight a speaker. Who do you have coming up that you think would be great and speak to this audience? Yeah.
Yes. So we have speakers from all over the country, a couple different countries outside of the US, but one that I'm really excited about that I think lots of folks will gather energy around here in Fargo. We have Missy Heilman from Bio Girls speaking.
Great.
If folks don't know who Missy is, look her up. She's the founder and executive director of Bio Girls, which is a nonprofit dedicated to improving the self-esteem, mental well-being of adolescent girls. And what's so perfect about having Missy as a TEDxFargo speaker is that it's a local idea that is relevant across the nation, across the world, right? So it's not just something that can impact here locally, but the Midwest, the country, the world. Her talk is going to focus on youth mental health and the constant pressure to perform and achieve and impacting mental health of our youth.
No, I love that. So, for those who don't know me very well, I'm a dad of a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It's definitely the beginning of some tricky years. I know it can go from being still dad the hero to dad the devil, at times too. And so it's a constant, it's a good lesson to learn, but also it just knows how much help they need. Those are tough years to navigate and tougher now than ever. And, I was fortunate to grow up without cell phones, I think, because now it's just so much extra and it's all the time. You can't get away from it. So that's great. Is she speaking on a particular day? And are there 2-day tickets, 1-day tickets? Can you buy one just for one speaker, or do you buy a whole day?
Questions.
Tell us about that.
These.
And how do you buy tickets?
Yes, TEDxFargo.com. TEDxFargo.com. Great place. You can also find it on Eventbrite, but on TEDxFargo.com, if I haven't said that enough, is where we have all of our speakers listed out. We have some that we haven't released yet because we're excited to kind of do some special promos for them. But on there, you can learn more about each speaker, kind of get a background on their bio and who they are, and then see which days the speakers are going to be giving their talk on either Wednesday, July 23rd, or Thursday, July 24th. And you can buy a 2-day all access pass, which gets you tickets to both days, all the speakers, all the things that you can do. We'll have some special bonus events and perks for our all access pass members. Or you can pick a 1-day ticket. If you're like, man, I can only get off work for 1 day, or I can only find a sitter for the kids for 1 day, do so. Show up. Let's do that. So you can pick either Wednesday or Thursday. If you're super excited to hear about Missy, she's speaking on Thursday. But yeah, you can do that and get those tickets on TEDxFargo.com.
So you said TEDxFargo.com.
Yes.
That's where you get tickets. One question. So if you have a small office or maybe a small team in your office, are there group discounts? Or
yes.
Yeah, tell us what that looks like.
Yeah, so for group tickets, we do those for 5 people or more. So you get a discount on that. The ticket price is down to $105 per person. And you can also buy those just on TEDxFargo.com or contact us. Then you don't have to pay the Eventbrite fees.
So you're with Emerging Prairie, and I just have to say one of my favorite things about Startup Brew or any of the other events you guys do, and same with TEDx, is I've never seen an event where so many people show up by themselves and are okay with it.
Yes.
I think that's such a unique thing that we don't highlight enough, where you're always inviting in a friend, hey, come with me. I don't want to feel awkward. You don't go out to eat by yourself or to the movies by yourself, but you're totally comfortable going to your events by yourself. And I assume that's purposeful.
Yes.
But maybe talk about that and why that's special.
Yeah, we encourage it, right? Because if you're new to the community, you're like, I don't know anybody here. 2, if you're like, I want to know more people here, yes, join in the conversation. Count yourself into our events, especially TEDxFargo. Not only is there the content on the stage, right? But then we have breaks, we have coffee moments, we have ways that you can interact with other people and just get to know them. Our team is always on the lookout for the folks that have shown up by themselves, whether purposefully or somebody got sick and so they had to be there by themselves. And so our team is always on the lookout for those folks to say, hey, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Who else can I connect you with? That's ultimately what we love so much.
So TEDxFargo, July 23rd and 24th, TEDxFargo.com. Come by yourself, come with friends, come with your office. You can be a teacher, a thinker, or just curious about what it is. It's all for you. You belong, if you will. TEDxFargo is an invitation to connect with those big ideas and bold voices, and also experience Downtown Fargo, which is special. And so I want to thank you for having me. Anything else you want to do to pitch TEDxFargo?
No, we hope we'll see you. If you're interested in sponsoring, we take sponsorships. We're really excited about that. But
do you stream the event? Or
we don't, but we do post them out usually within a couple months after getting them.
So we can watch last year's speakers and get a
please
sense
do.
of what's coming.
Also on TEDxFargo.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to an amazing summer in Downtown Fargo and look forward to being there at TEDx with you.
Thanks so much for all you do, Rocky.
Well, welcome back. I am Rocky Schneider with the inaugural show of Rocky's Downtown Hour, and I'm amazed to have one of my first guests on the show be Denise Kolpack, City Commissioner in the great city of Fargo, and she's also Deputy Mayor. Thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me, Rocky. Congratulations on your inaugural show.
And so you've been around the community for a long time, been on air a lot. What it tells you should run for office? Like, what inspires you to do that at your age or your pace in life?
Well, I had recently retired, and it was actually something that, let me just share a story. When I thought about this, someone else asked me this question not that long ago. When I was 9 years old, I decided to organize a muscular dystrophy carnival in my neighborhood to raise funds. And when we got done with that carnival, I remember my mom was debriefing with me, and she said, Denise, being in charge is in your DNA. And the reason I remember that is because I said, what is DNA, at the age of 9? But I always seem to end up leading or just by inherently, and I think it's because I was raised by 2 really hard-working parents who also served community their entire lives, including serving in the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department and Chief of Police in Northwood. So serving community has always been part of my life.
What I always think is that really anybody can run for office. I mean, that's what it's set up, especially on these local races, and how important it is that we actually have candidates. I know
Absolutely.
There's races around the state where you struggle to find a candidate.
That's
and
right.
We have a very important city commission and mayor's race coming up. We're going to have, I love him. Our mayor, Tim Mahoney, is 20-year term, in office
legacy.
In the city, incredible legacy. But it's going to be a new era in Fargo coming up in a year, and just how important it is to get candidates to consider it.
It's extremely important, and I will say I've been meeting with some possible candidates who are interested. Very exciting, and we are going to need some. Let's continue to need new ideas, fresh ideas, hopefully younger ideas as well in the future. Who knows? Too, you're going to see at Monday's agenda this proposal to perhaps add 2 more city commissioners at large. So we'll see what happens there, which will require a vote of a decision by the voters. But that means we potentially could have 4 new city commissioners coming up.
So I can imagine when you approach people and try to get somebody to run, the first question they ask is, well, why me? Could I really do this? I don't feel that self-important to do something like this. How do you get somebody to get in that mindset? Because you have to be very confident about yourself to put yourself out there.
You absolutely do, but also remember, you can do anything by learning, by talking, by connecting and coordinating. When I decided to run for city commission, I hadn't really been following along. I mean, certainly the bigger issues, but I worked a lot at Blue Cross Blue Shield for 16 years, and that was my life, was my career. So I had a lot of homework to do, and I literally didn't really understand the city budget. I didn't understand how the city operated. So I started without really knowing anything, and I met with every division, every department, I had over 100 community meetings, and within a couple of months, I had a pretty good handle on the issues and how the city operates, enough to be a good candidate and having done my homework. And anyone, can start by really knowing not much and learn in a short amount of time and be a good candidate.
So, yeah, maybe I didn't mean to go off topic so much on this, but if somebody wants to run or just is curious, like, what do I have to do? Who do I talk to? And I don't want to like post it on Facebook and then everyone makes a big deal about it. But if you just want to call somebody, how does that even work?
I'll tell you, first of all, city staff, city administration, the current sitting mayor, and any city commissioner. I have met with several people who had questions about the possibility. What is it like to be a city commissioner? What does it take? What is the time commitment? And people are more than willing. I think I had 4 different meetings with the city administration as a candidate with questions that came up during the race. And they were always willing and eager to help me.
So I'm going to ask you a question, because the one I get or I see online all the time is, so Downtown Fargo, this is what we're all about in this hour. It gets a lot of attention.
Yes.
And, some people say rightly so, some people say wrongly so, or they just question, why does downtown get so much attention from the city? I don't know, maybe it's just an open-ended question for you. Is downtown important to the city, and why?
Well, I think it's a hub of culture and a gathering place where people can connect, both from Fargo and not from Fargo. I think it's a gem, and the city has invested a lot in developing downtown Fargo to make it a special place. And so I think it does get attention, but there's a lot also to do downtown. Yes, there's things to do across Fargo, which is also important, but the vibrancy and the uniqueness of downtown, to me, really makes Fargo one of the most special cities in this region.
So I'm hoping every week on this program we can highlight, a business doing something, events going on, but also address some of the policy-related issues.
Absolutely.
And you're our policy-related guest. So we have some challenges downtown, and you work very closely with the legislature. You're the liaison to them from the City Commission. What's going on at the legislature, and how are they partnering with the city on addressing some of these?
Well, first of all, I had over my last 2.5 years as a new city commissioner, it has become very apparent to me that whether it's a small or a complex issue like homelessness or safety, the requirement is that it really takes in public-private partnerships, nonprofits, our sister cities, our area counties, and everyone working together to find those solutions. But there's no one single solution for these more complex problems. It's understanding what are all the interrelated issues and what are the solutions for each of them through collaboration, through commitment, through tenaciousness, and through policy. And so, yes, we have been working at the legislative session. I know DCP has been active. Rocky, you've been involved. We've also worked, of course, the city has our own lobbyists. The chamber's been very involved. So those partnerships are critical to understanding the issues for Fargo and the region, and then working, of course, closely with our area legislators, finding solutions that really will make a difference for the citizens in those spaces.
Well, I mean, that's why I wanted you on my program, because I've always appreciated your sort of collaboration and bringing people, knowing we all come from different perspectives or backgrounds, and we all, I think we all end up usually having the same end goal. It's just how we get there is very widely different. And so it takes a good leader like you to bring people together that realize, hey, how do we get to our same end goal, even though we're all starting at somewhere different? With
real solutions for the root causes too. No, understanding we have limited resources, and we're talking about tax dollars here. So the solutions need to work and need to solve the problems. And it is so important that the collaboration is there. I will add the other important component is ongoing communication and transparency around the work that is being done. And I know our communication team, this is really important to them too, but being at the table early and often to tell the citizens this is the work that's being done needs to be front and center in that work.
So really quick, because you talk about your communications team, where do we find out information about what's going on at the City of Fargo, what you're doing downtown, what you're doing at the legislature? What's the best way?
The best way is to follow our social sites, where you can all find all of them at the bottom of fargond.gov, and you can sign up there. You can track issues. There's a number of ways, but you're also going to see more citizen engagement opportunities through the community engagement survey we just recently completed with Zen City. So there's going to be a new tool there where you can contribute your ideas, your questions, etc. And then I will lastly close with, we still want to look at the opportunity for maybe quarterly public input forums where questions are asked and there are staff there to answer.
I love that. Well, thank you, Denise Kolpack, Commissioner of the City of Fargo. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining me on the first ever episode of Rocky's Downtown Hour. I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks, about every week, Friday at 11 o'clock. Join me and hear about what's going on in downtown Fargo.